Or else tell them to kiss your ass. Go over and talk the tire. All right, very first.
Or y'all can wink at them.
Yeah, just go and talk the tire. Very first thing, get that out of the way. All right. So you'll sign your paperwork and do all that stuff with him or whatever order he does it in. But first thing you do out of the truck is chalk that tire. Okay. Once you get it chalked, you get in using 3 points of contact. Tell him you're using 3 points of contact so he doesn't have to look for it. If you tell him you're using it, he just marks it down that you did it. Okay? All right, you get in your seat, you put your seat belt on. You adjust your seat so that you're comfortable. All right? So you're sitting in the seat, he's sitting in the seat. All right, first thing you're gonna do is you're gonna take that key, turn it to the on position. All right, when you turn it to the on position, your gauges are gonna cycle and your ABS light's gonna come and go off. You wanna point at your ABS light and say that my ABS light went on and went off. That's part of, you need that later on, so you need to point it out now, okay? So after that happens, those gauges cycle, that light goes on and go off, you start your vehicle. Now when you start your vehicle, you tell him, I'm gonna start my vehicle, I'm gonna build up my air pressure to 120 to 125 PSI to the governor cutoff. Anytime you say 120 to 125 PSI, say to the governor cutoff, all right? There's only one time he needs to hear it. But if you do it each and every time, he's going to definitely notice that you know it, and he's going to mark, even if he's like, did he say that? You're going to say it again later on. You're like, yeah, he definitely said that, you know? You're just covering your own rear, all right? Once you get the vehicle, and just so you know, and to be clear, that is actually your first test. Telling him 120 to 125 PSI to the governor cutoff. That is actually your first test, all right? So now that it's running, you're building up pressure, you don't have air pressure up yet. You don't have enough to do it, all right? So we're going to switch over to our in-cab inspection, all right, while we're waiting for that air pressure to build up. So you need a transition from your brake inspection to your in-cab inspection. So you say, hey, something to this effect, doesn't have to be identical, just something to this effect. While we're waiting for that air pressure to build up to 120 to 125 PSI to the governor cutoff, would you mind if I do my in-cab inspection? He'll be like, yeah, go ahead. All right. So now we're not on the brake inspection anymore, we're on the in-cab inspection. You're going to go to the fourth dot on your list, which is going to say lights and indicators. It's actually going to say lighting indicators. All right. Break that up. It's 5 lights and 2 indicators you're going to be looking for. All right. Your 5 lights. And I say them this way each and every time because you got to go over your lights 3 times. All right. So I do it the same way each and every time. Left turn, right turn, 4-way flashing. All right. When I put my left turn signal on, I say left. I point at it. Left turn. Put my right turn signal on. My right turn. Put my 4-way flashing on. 4-way flashing. Then you're going to turn your headlights on. He's not looking for your headlights. He's looking for your low beams and the high beams, not your headlights. So you turn them on, you say my low beams, point at the dash. Even if you don't see the light come on, point at the dash. Then when you pull back or push on the stick, the blue light will come up, you'll point to that and say my high beams. After you read off all 5 of them, you tell him they are all working correctly, okay? Now that we got the 5 lights, we need the 2 indicators. The 2 indicators that we're looking for. The first one is going to be your depth indicator, okay? It's in the upper right-hand corner, just below your fuel. It's going to have 4 lights, all right? 2, 3, 4 of them are going to come on, all right? You're going to point to it and say, this is my depth indicator. It is reading a level. It is working correctly. Then we're going to refer back to the very beginning when you did your safe start, because he needs to know about the ABS light. The only time you can test your ABS light is when you turn your vehicle on. Now we got the truck running, we're trying to build up pressure right now, so the last thing we want to do is have to turn it off to turn it back on just to do that light. That's why we pointed out in the beginning. So what you say is, once again, my depth indicator is reading level, it is working correctly. My ABS light went on and off during my safe start. I know that's working correctly. You've already pointed it out, you just refer back to it. All right, that's your 5 lights, 2 indicators. All right. Then after that, you're going to have your emergency equipment. Now down at the bottom of the sheet, it says you must point and or touch. All right. So you're going to point over your shoulder. out in my outside compartment, I have 3 pieces of emergency equipment. First thing, I have 3 DOT approved reflective triangles. Must say reflective, must say triangles, okay? The second thing, I have 6 spare fuses, all right?
You know, see, that no matter what I'm saying, he's saying too, you're gonna hear the same shit all day. All day, there's no way you can't pick this up.
The third thing you gotta point out is your fire extinguisher or your fire bottle. Don't call it a fire hydrant, all right? Your fire extinguisher, it is fully charged or filled to manufacturer's specs. It is undamaged, and there is no leaks. It is the only thing on the truck that we say no leaks. We do not specify between an audible or a visual, because if that goes off, you can see the chemical or you can hear it. You can do both. So we just say leaks because you can do both. All right? So the 3 things on fire extinguisher: filled to manufacturer specs, undamaged, and no leaks. All right.
No damage, no leak. Sorry.
Filled to manufacturer specs. Yep. All right. So after that, we go to our next one, which is our windshield and traffic monitoring devices. You point at it. This is my windshield. These are my traffic monitoring devices. If you only point to one, you only get credit for one, and you take a point for the whole line. So you got to point to both. They are undamaged and no illegal stickers. Okay? An illegal sticker is your favorite band, gold, get out and look, I brake for fat chicks, anything you got on there, you don't want. The only thing that's legal is your registration sticker, your tollway sticker, stuff that's issued by the federal, local, or state government, okay? And the reason we call them traffic monitoring devices now, because they're starting to update and they're going to be going to cameras, all right? So those cameras, they're not going to be mirrors. So that's why we don't say mirrors anymore, okay? Because eventually when your kids start driving trucks, they're going to be like, Grandpa, you had glass on the truck? A mirror on the side of the truck is going to be a foreign concept to them. They're not going to understand why did you have a mirror on the truck, because they've only known monitors and cameras. That's why we say traffic monitoring device. All right. So after we're done with our windshield and traffic monitoring devices, we're going to do our windshield wipers and washers. All right. Now it's asking for wipers and washers. So don't turn them on. Just press the stick in, get some fluid to come out. Once you get some fluid to come out, you say my wipers and washers are working correctly. Then you point to the wiper blades and say my wiper blades are undamaged. All right. Then after that, you're going to go to your heater and defroster. You're going to turn the fan all the way on. You're going to turn the heat all the way on. You're going to turn the selector to split level. All right, that's high and low. You're going to turn it to split level. You're going to put your hand up top and say my defroster is working correctly. You're going to put your hand underneath and say my heater is working correctly. All right, the last thing is your horns. All right, give them names. There's lots of names for these horns. The one on the steering wheel is your electric horn. It's your city horn. It's your little boy horn. Just go beep, beep. My city horn is working correctly. Then you have up here, you have your highway horn. You have your big boy horn. You have your air horn.
Horn.
Just go, yep, horn, yep. Just go beep, beep, toot, toot. My city horn and my highway horn are working correctly. All right? Because if you just point the stuff out to them, you're not doing yourself any good. You have to tell them that it is working. Like when you do your lights and you point to them at the end, you say they're all working correctly. All right. After you're done with your horns, you're done with your in-cab inspection. All right? Now that you're done with your in-cab inspection, you got to go back to your brake inspection. Now you are going to be so focused on your in-cab inspection, you're not going to hear your governor cutoff. Okay? It's probably not going to happen. So what you need to do is that creates 2 problems. One, we need to transition back, and 2, he needs to hear that. He needs to hear you point that out. All right? So if you hear it during your inspection of the in-cab, point it out to him. You know, be like that Leonardo DiCaprio meme. Right there, there it is. Point it out to him. If you don't worry about it. You have another opportunity to point it out. I'll tell you where that is. So you say to him, hey, I was doing my in-cab inspection. I did not hear my governor cut off between 120 to 125. Would you like me to continue with my brake inspection, or do you want me to wait? Give him
See,
the option.
This is the difference. This is what I'm telling you. That's something that I'm not aware of, and that's good information to know. If you missed it on the first one, you can recover from it on that second part. Okay?
Yes. So if he's like, oh, I heard it, go ahead, or he might be like, what is your air pressure at? Just tell him it's like at 130. He goes like, you're good. Or he might be like, hey, just wait for it. Then you hear it go, you know, there it is, and go on. So let's say he just says, now go ahead. All right, so go ahead. Now we're ready for our brake inspection. There is 3 things you must do before your brake inspection, or you will fail immediately. All right. The first thing is press in your screen brakes. Press in the red and yellow.
These are also considered where you can begin.
Yep.
Okay? That's what you'll do, Charles.
Amarillo and rojo. Press those in. All right. Wait for it to stop hissing. Once it stops hissing, you're good to go. What that is that's pressurizing the system, so you have your brakes let go. Okay. That's why you put the chocks under your tire. All right. After that hissing stops, turn your truck off. We're not testing how much air pressure you can build up. We're testing how much air pressure you can keep. All right. Then you turn it back on. All right. Because if you go sit in front of your TV to go watch the game, you're gonna watch the game unless you turn the TV on? Hell no, you ain't gonna see anything. It's gonna be a black screen. Same way with those dials. They're not gonna work properly unless they have power. Get power back to the wire. All right. So once you get that power back, that's the 3 to begin. Press in your valves, turn your engine off, turn your engine back, or turn your engine back to the on position. Do not start it, okay? So now that it's started, now we got to go into our 3 brake tests. All right, our first 3 brake tests. All right, it's 4 parts to the brake test. Each one. Identify the test, talk about the test, perform the test, then recap. All right, so we go with our test, we call it ALS. All right, A, L, and S. That's the first letter of each test. My first test is going to be the applied brake test for A. All right, I'm going to identify it. I'm going to do my brake test. I'm going to do my applied brake test. I'm going to talk about it. I'm going to put my foot on the pedal. I'm going to hold it there for 60 seconds. I should not lose more than 4 psi within 1 minute. All right, I talked about it. Now I'm going to do it. I'm going to hand him my phone and say, hey, would you mind timing me? He's going to go like, okay, go. You're going to take your foot and put it up to the brake pedal. All right. If you put your foot to the brake pedal before that, that's when he's going to start timing you. Okay? So don't put it on there until he tells you to go, or you tell him you're ready to go. All right? Do not press down on the pedal. Okay? It's called the applied brake test. The definition of pressure, all right, is when one object comes in contact with the second object and the weight of the first object is felt on the second. So if I put my hand on your hand, you can feel me touching you. Okay? It doesn't mean you have to press it all the way down. Because if you press it all the way down, you're forcing air out, and that air has to go somewhere. You can and will lose that 4 pounds of pressure and fail your test. Just touch it. Don't press down on it.
Plus,
Just
these trucks don't have
touch
a
it.
brake pressure indicator too, so there's no way to prove it.
I've seen that.
So you're good. You know what I'm saying?
Okay. So you hold it there for 60 seconds. You wait for him to tell you it's good. All right. If you hold it there for 59 seconds, that's not a minute. That's a failure. Let him tell you it's good. That's why I recommend to have him time it for you. All right. After he says it's good, you say, all right, this is where you recap. I put my foot on the pedal. I held it there for 60 seconds. I did not lose more than 4 pounds of pressure. Now I'm going to go ahead and do the L of ALS. L stands for low air warning test. L stands for low air pressure test. Just low air something and you're good. All right. Now I'm going to do my low air pressure test. I'm going to pump my pedal until my low air warning device comes on. My low air warning device will come on by 55. If you say at 55 and it goes off at 65, you failed. Make sure you use the word by.
Verbiage, guys. Las
Okay.
palabras son todo.
So, all right. Now I'm going to go ahead and do that. You start pumping your brakes and go. When you hear the ee, come on, take your foot off and say, my low air warning device came on by 55. Or you can look at the gauge and say it came on at 65 or whatever it's at. You can do either which way you want, all right? So you say, okay, my low air warning light came on by 55 PSI. All right, that's the recap. All right, it is working correctly. Let him know that these are working correctly. So when you do the first one, the applied brake test, tell him I didn't lose more than 4 pounds of pressure. It's working correctly. It came on by 55. It's working correctly. The last one is going to be your spring brake test. That's what the S stands for, ALS. I'm going to continue pumping my brakes. My spring brakes will pop out between 20 to 45 PSI. They're not going to pop out at the same time. All right, one's going to come out at 43 and the other one's going to come out at 28. Okay, and unless you catch both of those, you're going to be in trouble because you don't want to give direct answers. All right, you pump your pedal until they both pop out. Once they both pop out, you stop and you say, I pumped my pedal until my spring brakes popped out. They popped out between 20 to 45.
That's why that number exists, okay? If that button doesn't pop out, guys, keep pumping that fucking brake.
Don't reach up there and pull it. Keep pumping until both of them are out.
If it
All
don't
right.
come out, he'll tell you. Go ahead
So
and
now
pull it.
that you're done with that, we got to build up pressure because we got 3 more tests to do. All right. So your truck is already on position. Put your foot on the clutch. Do another safe start. Start up and just tell them, hey, I'm building my pressure back up to 120 to 125 psi to the governor cutoff. Turn your steering wheel to the left or turn your steering wheel to the right. It doesn't matter. You can do either way. All right. Turn it all the way. Tell them you're going to get out and remove your chock. Get out. I'm using 3 points of contact. Remove your chock. Throw it back up in. I'm using 3 points of contact to get in. Get in. Move the chock over. Sit in your seat. Put your seatbelt on. Close your door. All right. Now you're back in the seat. This is your second opportunity to show him that governor cutoff. So your engine is only going to build up air pressure at a idle speed if your truck is just at an idle. If you put your foot on the fuel pedal and raise it up between 11 and 1200 RPMs, it's going to come up closer, come up quicker. You do not want to idle over 1500. If you idle over 1500, you can cause damage to the engine. Okay, you don't want to high idle the engine. So just bring it up to 11 or 12 and listen, all right? So you're raising it up, it's going, it's going, it's going, it's going, it's going. You hear that? Point that out. That was my governor cutoff right there. Point it out to him. That's your second opportunity to point it out to him.
Very important. If you missed the first one, second
Yep,
one's there.
you have to show him on that second one. He can take your word for the first one, but if you don't point it out in the first one, you have to show out the second one. All right. So now, our next test is our trailer brake and our parking brake. These are interchangeable. You can do either one first, all right? But if you say you're going to do your trailer and parking brake, you better do your trailer and parking brake, not your parking brake and your trailer brake. Keep it in the order that you tell him. Tell him, all right, I'm going to do my trailer and parking brake. If I do my trailer brake, I'm going to press in the yellow brake, which is your parking brake, because you don't want that there, all right? You only want to be testing the red one. When it's pulled, it's applied. When it's pushed, it's released. You do not want to put your foot on the service brake, because you're not testing the service brake, you're testing the spring brake, okay? So you go ahead and press your clutch all the way in, put it in first gear, come off your clutch just a little bit, just enough to get your truck to rock. As soon as your truck rocks just a little bit, press your clutch back in, put it back in neutral, pull the brake that you pulled out and say, hey, my trailer brake is working correctly. Now I'm going to test my parking brake. Press in your trailer brake. Put it back in first gear, give it a little tug, put it back into neutral, pull your red button back out. Say, hey, my parking brake is working correctly. Just keep it straight which one you are doing, okay? So that leaves one last test, and that's your service brake, all right? Your service brake, you're gonna do like your first 3, like your ALS. Identify, talk about, perform, recap. All right, now I'm gonna go ahead and do my service brake. All he needs to know is that you're gonna get it up to 5 miles an hour and come to a stop, all right? Say, hey, I'm gonna get it up to 5 miles an hour and come to a complete stop. Put it in gear, take off your brakes, get it up to 5 miles an hour. Once you get to 5 miles an hour, press in your clutch, press your brake, come to a complete stop. Once you're at a complete stop, put it in neutral, pull your brakes. Now you need to recap. I got it up to 5 miles an hour. I came to a complete stop. There was no side-to-side motion. My brakes are working correctly. Let me explain that to you. Okay, get it up to 5, tell them you got up to 5 miles an hour. That means you're in motion and that you could use your brakes. You came to a complete stop. Your brakes worked well enough to come to a complete stop. There was no side-to-side motion. That means your brakes are adjusted correctly. Because if you get a pull to the left or to the right at 5 miles an hour, imagine what's going to happen to your vehicle when you're weighing 80,000 pounds, doing 75 miles an hour, and you hit your brake. You're going to be making a left-hand turn into oncoming traffic, or you're going to be making a right-hand turn into the ditch. It's going to pull, and it's going to pull hard. Okay, that's why we look for it in the beginning like that. That's why I recommend to do a brake test every damn day you get in that truck. All right, that's the pull to left and right we're working for. So if it's stopping well enough, it's not pulling to either side, that's how we know your brakes are working correctly. All right, there's a little bit more with that with the lights, but I'm not going to take any more of your time. We need to keep y'all out of here.
Go ahead and sign out 4 o'clock, guys.
Okay, at 4 o'clock, you find your name, you sign